I want to tell you about something that men in certain Mediterranean villages have been doing for generations, something that scientists have now studied extensively, something that explains why men in these communities maintain extraordinary cardiovascular health well into their 80s and 90s. It happens every night. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it costs less than a cup of coffee. It involves something you probably already have in your kitchen, extra virgin olive oil. But not plain olive oil. Olive oil with 4 specific additions that transform it into one of the most powerful overnight circulation formulas in natural medicine. Tonight, I am going to give you the exact recipe, the exact science behind each ingredient, and the exact reason why taking it at night, specifically at night, produces results that daytime consumption simply cannot match.
If you are a man over 50 who wants better circulation, stronger morning erections, and a cardiovascular system that performs like it did decades ago, this video was made for you.
My name is Dr. Elizabeth Kavaler. I am a board-certified urologist and urogynecologist. I have spent over 20 years in clinical practice focusing on men's urological and sexual health. On this channel, I give you honest, evidence-based medical education. No inflated promises, no miracle cures, no shame. Just real science explained clearly so you can make real decisions about your health. What I am sharing today is not folk medicine. Every ingredient in this formula has published, peer-reviewed research behind it. I will show you the mechanisms, I will show you the data, and I will show you exactly how to use it. Let's begin with the most important concept in this entire video: why nighttime is everything. Most people think sleep is passive. Your body disagrees completely. Between approximately 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., your body enters its most intensive cardiovascular repair window. Here is what happens during that window. Your heart rate drops, blood pressure falls, stress hormones decrease. This is when your endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, undergoes active repair and regeneration. Damaged cells are replaced. Inflammatory compounds are cleared. Nitric oxide production, which supports vascular tone and elasticity, reaches its highest natural levels. This is also when your body processes and distributes the nutrients from your last meal. Compounds absorbed in the evening circulate through your vascular system for hours. They reach your arterial walls, your cardiac tissue, your penile blood vessels, the small arteries that require healthy endothelium to function properly. Here is the key insight.
If you consume the right vascular supporting compounds immediately before this overnight repair window opens, those compounds are present in your bloodstream exactly when your body needs them most. Daytime consumption gets metabolized and excreted before the repair window even opens. Nighttime consumption is timed perfectly with your body's own repair schedule. This is why the timing is not just a suggestion. It is the entire mechanism.
Before we add anything to the olive oil, I want to explain why olive oil itself is the foundation. Because it is not just a carrier, it is a powerful therapeutic agent in its own right. Extra virgin olive oil, and I want to emphasize extra virgin, not regular olive oil, contains 3 compounds that directly support vascular health. Hydroxytyrosol. Hydroxytyrosol is one of the most potent antioxidants found in any food. Its antioxidant capacity exceeds vitamin C and vitamin E. In the blood vessels, it neutralizes the free radicals that damage the endothelium and trigger inflammation. A healthy endothelium produces more nitric oxide. More nitric oxide means better blood flow. Better blood flow means stronger erections and better cardiovascular performance. Aleuropene. Aleuropene is the compound responsible for olive oil's distinctive bitter taste.
It directly activates ENOS, endothelial nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme that produces nitric oxide in vessel walls. In simple terms, aleuropene turns up your body's own nitric oxide factory. Studies have shown that oleuropein supplementation measurably increases nitric oxide levels in the blood, oleocanthal. Oleocanthal is the compound that makes high-quality olive oil cause a slight burn at the back of the throat. If your olive oil has no throat sensation, it does not contain meaningful amounts of oleocanthal. Oleocanthal is a natural KIOX inhibitor. It works through the same anti-inflammatory pathway as ibuprofen. Chronic vascular inflammation is one of the primary drivers of both atherosclerosis and erectile dysfunction. Oleocanthal fights that inflammation every night while you sleep. Oleic acid, the absorption supercharger. Finally, olive oil's high oleic acid content makes it an exceptional fat matrix for absorption. Many of the active compounds in the 4 ingredients I am about to describe are fat-soluble. When consumed in the olive oil base, their bioavailability increases dramatically. Some compounds absorb up to 20 times more effectively in a fat matrix than consumed alone. The olive oil is not just the vehicle, it is the amplifier.
The first ingredient is raw cacao powder. Not cocoa, not chocolate. Raw cacao, the unprocessed form that retains its full concentration of active compounds. The key compound here is epicatechin, a flavanol found in raw cacao at extraordinarily high concentrations. Here is what epicatechin does. First, it activates enos through a different pathway than aleuropine. This is important. When two compounds activate the same enzyme through different pathways, the combined effect is greater than either alone. Raw cacao and olive oil are not just additive, they are synergistic. Second, epicatechin inhibits PDE5. Yes, the same enzyme that erectile dysfunction medications target. PDE5 breaks down cGMP, the molecule that maintains vessel dilation during erection. By inhibiting PDE5, epicatechin prolongs the vasodilation signal. The result? Better, more sustained blood flow to the erectile tissue.
Third, when dissolved in olive oil's fat matrix, epicatechin's absorption increases dramatically. The same compound that in dry powder form has limited bioavailability becomes far more available to your vascular system when consumed in fat. Graphic clinical study text, dark chocolate epicatechin improved endothelial function, published data. Multiple clinical trials have shown that regular epicatechin consumption measurably improves endothelial function, reduces arterial stiffness, and lowers blood pressure. These are not small effects. These are statistically significant, clinically relevant improvements. Dose 1 level teaspoon of raw cacao powder per serving. Raw cacao only. Regular processed cocoa has lost most of its epicatechin through heat treatment.
The second addition is turmeric, but with a critical partner. Without this partner, turmeric barely works. With it, the transformation in bioavailability is extraordinary. Turmeric's active compound is curcumin. Curcumin is one of the most extensively studied natural anti-inflammatory compounds in the world. Over 12,000 published studies have examined its effects. Here is what curcumin does in the vascular system. It suppresses NF-kappa B, the master switch for inflammatory gene expression. When NF-kappa B is active, your body produces inflammatory compounds that damage vessel walls. Curcumin turns that switch off, reducing the chronic arterial inflammation that drives both heart disease and erectile dysfunction. Curcumin also directly increases enos activity, adding another pathway to your nitric oxide production. And it reduces oxidative damage to LDL cholesterol, preventing the arterial plaque formation that narrows blood vessels over time. Here is the problem.
Curcumin has almost zero bioavailability when consumed alone. Your digestive system breaks it down and excretes it before it can reach your bloodstream. This is where black pepper changes everything. Black pepper contains piperine. Piperine inhibits the specific liver enzymes that break down curcumin before it absorbs. The result, adding just a small pinch of black pepper, increases curcumin bioavailability by up to 2,000%. Pause. Let that number land. 2,000% from adding a pinch of black pepper. And our olive oil base adds a third layer of amplification. Curcumin is fat soluble. Dissolving it in olive oil further increases its absorption through the gut wall. This three-way synergy, curcumin, piperine, and olive oil fat, produces a delivery system that rivals many pharmaceutical formulations. Dose 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 small pinch of freshly ground black pepper. Do not skip the pepper. Without it, the turmeric contributes very little.
The third ingredient is ashwagandha, and this one works through a completely different mechanism than the others. Because blood flow is not just a physical issue, it is a hormonal issue. Here is something that most cardiovascular discussions completely ignore. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, is one of the most potent vasoconstrictors in the human body. When cortisol is elevated, blood vessels contract, blood pressure rises. Blood flow to non-essential tissues, including the penis, is reduced. Testosterone production is suppressed. The entire hormonal environment for both sexual function and cardiovascular health is disrupted. And here is the challenge that affects almost every man over 50. Chronic stress is the norm in modern life. Work pressure, financial worry, health anxiety, sleep disruption. These create chronically elevated cortisol that never fully resolves. And chronically elevated cortisol means chronically constricted blood vessels.
Ashwagandha is the most well-studied adaptogenic herb for cortisol reduction. Its active compounds, with analytes, work by modulating the HPA axis. The The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis is the control system for cortisol production. With analydes, dampen the HPA response, reducing the amount of cortisol your adrenal glands produce. Graphic, clinical study. Ashwagandha reduced cortisol by 27%. Double-blind placebo-controlled trial. A double-blind placebo-controlled trial published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that ashwagandha supplementation reduced cortisol levels by 27% compared to placebo. Participants also showed significant improvements in testosterone levels. Lower cortisol means more relaxed blood vessels. More relaxed blood vessels means better baseline circulation, and taking ashwagandha at night is particularly strategic because it also promotes deeper, more restorative sleep. And better sleep means lower cortisol the following morning, and lower morning cortisol means better morning erections. The mechanism is direct, the research is solid, the timing is perfect. Dose 1/4 teaspoon of ashwagandha powder, KSM 66, or sensorial forms preferred for highest with analyte concentration. The fat matrix of olive oil enhances absorption of the fat soluble with analytes.
The fourth and most pharmacologically fascinating ingredient is pomegranate seed oil. Not pomegranate juice, not pomegranate powder. The cold-pressed oil extracted specifically from pomegranate seeds. Pomegranate seed oil contains a rare fatty acid called punicic acid. Punicic acid is found at meaningful concentrations in very few places in nature. Pomegranate seed oil contains approximately 65 to 80% punicic acid, by far the richest source known. Here is what punicic acid does that nothing else does quite as effectively. It enhances the activity of an enzyme called paraoxinase 1, abbreviated PON1. PON1 is the enzyme responsible for preventing LDL cholesterol oxidation. Oxidized LDL is the specific form that embeds in arterial walls and initiates plaque formation. Non-oxidized LDL, even at high levels, is dramatically less damaging to blood vessels.
In other words, PON1 is the guardian enzyme that protects your arteries from the most common form of damage they face. During the overnight period, your liver processes lipids absorbed from your last meal. This is when LDL particles are at their highest concentration in the bloodstream. This is when oxidation risk is highest. And this is exactly when you want high PON1 activity in your system. By consuming pomegranate seed oil before sleep, you flood your system with punicic acid precisely during the peak lipid processing window.
Clinical research has shown that pomegranate seed oil supplementation increases PON1 enzyme activity, reduces markers of LDL oxidation, and improves the overall oxidative stress profile in the arteries. Combined with olive oil's own hydroxytyrosol, which provides complementary oxidative protection, this is one of the most powerful overnight artery protection combinations in natural medicine. Dose 1/4 teaspoon of cold-pressed pomegranate seed oil. Look for cold-pressed, unrefined. Heat processing destroys the punicic acid. It has a mild, slightly nutty taste that blends well in the formula. Now let me give you the exact preparation method. This takes under 2 minutes. Everything can be prepared the night before. You will need 1 tablespoon of high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Make sure it has a mild throat burn. That indicates oleocanthal is present. If it tastes bland, find a better brand. 1 teaspoon of raw cacao powder. 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder. 1 small pinch of freshly ground black pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of ashwagandha powder. 1/4 teaspoon of cold-pressed pomegranate seed oil. Preparation. Place the olive oil in a small glass or ceramic bowl. Add the raw cacao powder and stir until fully dissolved. This takes about 30 seconds. Add the turmeric and black pepper. Stir again until blended. Add the ashwagandha powder and mix thoroughly. Add the pomegranate seed oil last and stir until the mixture is uniform. The final mixture should be a deep brown gold color. Consume directly and do not add to water or tea, as this dilutes absorption. Eat it from the spoon or small bowl. Follow with a small sip of water if needed. Ideal timing, 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. This allows initial absorption before your overnight repair window fully opens. Important, use a small glass or ceramic bowl, not plastic. Some of these compounds can leach compounds from plastic containers. I want to give you a completely honest timeline, because these are biological processes, not pharmaceutical interventions. Results build cumulatively, not overnight. Days 1 through 7. The compounds begin accumulating in your blood and tissues. Nitric oxide production begins to improve. Most men notice improved sleep quality within the first week. This is the ashwagandha reducing cortisol before bed, allowing deeper sleep stages. Better sleep itself improves morning vascular function. Days 8 through 14. Endothelial antioxidant protection begins to show measurable effect. Inflammatory markers in the blood begin to decline. Many men report noticing stronger and more consistent morning erections by week 2. This is one of the earliest and most reliable signs of improving nocturnal vascular function. Days 15 through 21. Curcumin's anti-inflammatory effect on arterial walls becomes more pronounced.
Blood pressure, particularly morning blood pressure, may begin to decrease slightly. Energy levels and mental clarity often improve, reflecting better overall circulation and lower cortisol. Erection quality, firmness, and reliability continue to improve. Days 22 through 30. The cumulative vascular effect reaches its early peak. Men who commit to 4 full weeks consistently report the most significant changes. Morning circulation, reflected in energy, alertness, and erectile function, is noticeably improved. This is not a ceiling. Results continue to build with longer, consistent use. The most important word here is consistent. One night of this formula does nothing. 30 consecutive nights of this formula changes your vascular biology.
Before I close, I want to address safety, because a responsible physician always tells you both what to do and when not to do it. This formula is safe for most healthy adults. However, there are specific situations where you should consult your physician first. Blood thinners, both turmeric and pomegranate seed oil, have mild blood thinning properties. If you take warfarin, aspirin therapy, clopidogrel, or any other anticoagulant medication, please discuss this formula with your physician before starting. The interaction risk is real and requires medical supervision. Diabetes medications. Ashwagandha can lower blood sugar levels. If you take insulin or oral diabetes medications, monitor your glucose levels carefully. Dose adjustments may be necessary under medical supervision. Thyroid conditions. Ashwagandha stimulates thyroid hormone production. If you have hyperthyroidism or take thyroid medication, consult your physician before use. Grapefruit interactions.
Pomegranate, and particularly grapefruit if you substitute it, can inhibit certain liver enzymes that metabolize statin medications and some blood pressure medications. If you take these medications, discuss pomegranate supplementation with your physician. For everyone else, this formula is safe, well tolerated, and backed by solid nutritional science. Start with half doses in week 1 to allow your system to adjust.
The men in those Mediterranean villages who maintain extraordinary cardiovascular health into their 80s, they did not have access to pharmaceutical interventions. They had access to food, to ritual, to consistency. Every night they nourished their blood vessels with what the land provided, and their arteries rewarded them with decades of vitality. You have access to the same compounds tonight, in better quality, in better concentrations, with the full understanding of why they work. 2 minutes before bed, 4 ingredients, 30 consecutive nights. Your circulation does not have to decline with age. It can be supported, maintained, improved at any age, with the right knowledge. That knowledge is yours now. I will see you in the next video. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It helps us reach more men who are looking for honest, natural health solutions. Subscribe for weekly evidence-based men's health content from a real urologist. Comment olive oil below if you are starting this tonight. I want to hear about your experience at 30 days. I read every comment. And share this with a man who needs better circulation. That one share could genuinely change his health.